Chattin with Jackson is brought to you by Jayla Media and HPV Studios. Awesome. Ready to go?
Sorted.
Sorted, mate.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep doing a London accent now because
Just because I'm here, but then like every time I see you or come to Dublin, I just start to
Irish accent.
say things in an Irish accent, and
coolio.
I'm not Irish.
Yeah.
So don't know why.
Fascinating, babes. Right, we're gonna do the intro. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the next episode, or what are we at now? I think we're at the 4th episode. I'm going to lose track eventually, so I probably already have. But anyways, welcome back to Chattin with Jackson. Today, I have such a special guest that I'm super excited to have on. One of the dearest friends of mine that I absolutely adore, Elliot Douglas. How are you?
Hello. I don't know where to look.
You can look at me. It's all good.
No, I'm joking. Hi. Well,
So part of the intro, you are musician,
yes.
actor, model. Is there anything else we should add to the list?
I also just work on social media in general. So I will just create like TikTok content or Instagram content. I want to try and branch out a bit more, maybe do YouTube. But you know, when it's like sort of early days, I'm sort of still coming into myself, still like learning lots. So yeah, I'm working on it.
Working on it.
Yeah.
So we have known each other. Oh my gosh, let me see now. We have known each other.
It's about 4 years.
Yeah. That's
a bit longer than 4 years.
Yeah, it was right before my 18th birthday that we met. Because I remember it was like 2 weeks before I started testosterone. So just for people who don't know, so me and Elliot, we became friends because we were mutual friends with the people that we are all in a friend group with now. It's so hard to try to explain. But so basically, I was friends with Noah and Phoenix. And Elliot was friends with Noah and Phoenix, but me and Elliot weren't friends just then. We knew of each other, but we weren't friends.
Social media. It's the wonders of social media and knowing people online and then not knowing them in real life and then meeting them in real life. And there's the fact that I will let you explain.
I was about to say, I would love for you to tell the story of the first time we met and like why.
So we'd literally we'd messaged each other a bit on social media
for about a week.
yeah, got like just good vibes all around. And I was in my first year of uni, so I was living in London in halls, and I just FaceTimed Jackson, and then he came and stayed over, and he literally flew over like, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks, month later or something.
Yeah, I think so.
You just got on a plane, came and stayed with me for the weekend. We had such a good time. We've literally just been friends ever since.
I think it was crazy because, again, like we'd only ever FaceTimed. We'd never met in person in any way, shape or form. Like literally never. We'd FaceTimed once, might I add, once. And Elliot was like, book flights, come stay with me in my literal 1-bedroom sitting. There was no couch. There was no like sitting room. This was like one room. Like we shared the same bed. I think I was on the floor actually. But like we literally like we just it was like the thing, we just dove in the deep end. It was like friends, like hit it or quit it.
Yeah. But I don't
know if that was the right phrase for that, but you know what I mean. Well.
And they say they were roommates. But yeah, no. So we've been really good friends ever since, and we've worked together on a couple of short film things. So that's been really cool.
Actually, a funny one. I had an organization. I'm not going to name any organizations because it might sound like I'm speaking bad, but I'm not. Had an organization reach out to me, and your character in Boxed In was never specifically said to be trans. It was just that you were my character's boyfriend. And somebody had asked me, and I have agreed to it, but someone has asked me to screen Boxed In at a Trans Day of Remembrance showing. And I was like, yeah, I'd happily love to. But they included it in the email because I love a bit of T for T relationships. And I was like, yeah, but I was like, I never, like, fair enough, my character is trans, but like we never like specifically said your character. Maybe it's just people who know of you.
Yeah, I think it must be because they know that I'm trans, so they just assume that, oh, this is like a T for T relationship. But we never specified about my own transition. It was more so about you and your character's story and your relationship with your brother and all of that.
So, you know, just while we're on the topic, because nobody's ever seen the behind the scenes yet, apart from obviously people who were at I was going to say screening, the filming. Like, Boxed In, as you know, was chaotic to film. Like, it was
I think it was something like 50 plus slates. A slate is like a different.
It was like 63 slates in 3 days.
In 3 days. That's and it takes like 20 minutes to set up each of these slates. So it was just.
I think
nuts.
the first night we shot, I had 3 nosebleeds that night. Do you remember it?
And your mum was.
My mom had a breakdown. My mom had a full on breakdown and like kept pulling me into her room, being like, "I do not want these people in my house." And I was like, "Mom, you agreed to let me film in the house." She was like, "Not
she
20
She prolonged the filming process.
I was trying to say that to her.
Taking you her side. I'm not.
Oh no, we love Mary.
I'm not criticizing. We love her. But
she kept like, I basically said to my mom, I was like, the more you pull me into your room, the longer filming is going to take because I have to be in front of the camera in order to film, Mary.
It's not like you were like directing and you could just not be in the shot.
I was the main character. Like, main character. My mom was like, I don't want these people in my house. Speed it up. I was like, you pulling me into your room slows it the fuck down, Mary. I was like, come on. She just didn't catch.
But we did it.
Oh, we did.
And I was really happy with how it turned out and like just proud of what we managed to create.
I absolutely adore Boxed In. And I think, you know, when I was writing the script originally, I wrote it as my character having a girlfriend. And then I was like, you know what? If I'm getting funding and it's going to be in these big film festivals, I literally want to write in every type of character that I can. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have a big enough cast to like get more diversity into the film. But I was like, right, I'm going to have a boyfriend. But you know what? I'm going to have a deaf boyfriend because I really want Elliot to play the part. So I was like, and I want Elliot to bring that, you know, that natural aspect of it as well and that authenticity into the character. And I'll never forget, like, there was like the scene we had to do and you had to keep taking your hearing aids in and out, and every time we'd call cut you wouldn't know and you'd just stay sleeping, and I'd have to be like, oh shit, and then the I think it was the director would be like, someone tell Elliot we cut, and I was like, oh yeah,
someone tap him, someone let him know.
Tap him and let him know, and because we just kept forgetting.
Yeah, also just because like just to like kind of give any listeners an idea about how deaf I actually am. You know, I'm severely deaf in both ears. I have been since I was 3 years old. It's not really gotten worse or anything. It's pretty much stayed the same. But I'm deaf. I'm deaf. And, you know, people hear me speak and they're like, oh my God, you can speak so well. And it's like, and?
That's it, yeah. I was showing people you playing the piano the other day and I was like, oh, how beautiful is this? How nice is this? And I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember which one of my friends it was. And I was like, yeah, it's really cool, like seeing Elliot play because like he feels like, you know, like he can't hear it, but he likes to feel the vibrations of the piano and stuff. And they were like, oh, he's deaf. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, he speaks really well for a deaf person. And I was like, it's not a thing. Like I know some deaf people.
It's such a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like, oh, I even had it in work the other day. And this is someone who works for the same organisation, who's just an employee, does the same retail job, but just in a different store. So she'd come in and we didn't know that she also worked for the same company. But anyway, we get chatting, find that out. And then the phone rang and she was like, oh, aren't you going to get that? And I was like, no, I have to pass it to my colleague because I'm deaf. Like, I'm not going to be able... She was like, but you speak. What?
You should have been like, and I can hear, bitch. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God. People. Like, really? It actually shocks me that so many people have so many, like, misconceptions about deafness and seem to think that it limits you in so many ways. Like, I don't know. Yes, it does limit some deaf people in ways. And you know, if I didn't have my hearing aids as well, I really wouldn't have the confidence that I have now, especially with music, because I couldn't really hear myself when I sing. Yeah. And I still can't really fully hear myself. I really do base a lot of pitching off of vibrations. Like I remember I grew up with a piano in the home, and I remember the first time my mum got it tuned and I was like, oh, this feels so much better to play. She was like, oh, it feels better. And I was like, yeah, it feels right. Every time I press, like, I don't know, the C.
Yeah, the vibrations feel right.
It feels crisp.
That's so cool, though.
Yes, like, literally so good. And she really picked up on it. And I was like, oh, I see what you did there. Okay, yeah. It sounds better, but it does feel right. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's also like a neurodivergent type thing that I've got going on. I don't know.
We've all been there, honey.
But yeah, there's something for me about music that is just tantalizing.
And, you know, just going back there for a second. Obviously, we said it, but we haven't kind of like stated it.
Yeah.
About myself, for anybody listening who you don't need to see to know, but me and Elliot are both trans men. I identify as a trans male. I know you identify more on the trans masc side.
I don't really know where I fit.
Yeah,
fully.
so I don't want to say trans male.
Yeah, I'm trans man / non-binary. I'm like somewhere in between. I just don't quite. And that's why sometimes it's just like I'm queer, because it's just an easier all-encompassing.
I think it's so funny when like I say to people that are like straight and cis, when they're like, oh, so like what way do you identify? I'm like, kind of queer all around, like sexuality and gender, and they're like, isn't queer like a bad word? I'm like, I can say it, bad. You can. No. I can. Now, don't get me wrong, like I've been around trans people and I've used like the T slur. I won't say it here just in case anyone gets triggered.
Yeah.
Because I use it with myself and I forget that other people don't use it.
Yeah.
It's like the same with the F slur.
Towards, like some of my like friends like trans, not even just trans mass friends, but like AFAB.
Yeah.
Like AFAB friends.
Oh, for anybody who doesn't know what AFAB is, it's assigned female at birth.
Yes. So we call each other girl because we fucking can. Wait, am I allowed to? I am allowed to.
Yeah, you Jordan curse.
We do it because we fucking can, but we're like, no one else can do this. It's literally just between... Stop. So, like, even bringing Noah and Phoenix back up, but they went out with Vegard the other night. You know, there's that meme going around about... it's not even a meme, just a video of Chris... Is it Chris Jenner? And she gets high. She has like an edible gummy for the first time, and she's like, "When was the last time you had an all girls night?" And like we just
girls night.
Yeah, we just been like all girls night. Yeah, let's go. Like it's so funny to me. It's so funny to me. Like I guess like taking ownership, claiming it, and just being like, whatever.
But going back to what you said about like the hearing aids and like, obviously with your deafness, people are like, oh, you speak really well for a deaf person. It's quite similar to like the compliments we get when they're like, oh my god, you look so good for a trans person.
Yeah.
That is not a compliment, honey. Like it is in no way, shape or form a compliment. You may as well have slapped me with a chair. Like honestly, because like I remember like I'll hit you with a funny one. And I know Connor slags me because I chat a lot on this show, but it's what we're here for.
Yeah.
But I was for instance, we're going to the George tonight. Probably one of the, like, I think I've had like the most transphobic experiences in the George. Now, don't get me wrong. I still want you to come with me.
Yeah,
because it is like a nice spot. It's been rare occasions.
I've been on a night out to the George, and I've been to Dublin quite a few times.
I was talking to this guy who was he was cis. Wow, he was a cis. No, he was cis, but he wasn't straight, so he was a gay man. And I knew this person who was walking past, and they're quite masculine presenting, but they identify as a lesbian. And they were walking past, because I'm not sure if they use they or she, but they were walking past, and this guy and me were having a lovely chat, like a really, really nice chat. And I was like, oh my god, this guy's so nice. And this person walks past, and again, I know them, so I know what way they identify. And he turns around and he's like, oh, he's so hot. And I was like, oh, like that's actually a woman. Like she's really, really nice. And he like turns around and he scoffs. He's like, oh, can't trust anyone these days. And I just like froze on the spot. I was like, oh yeah, well, and I kind of panicked. I was gonna like shove it off, and then I was like, do you know what? I'm a stand up for my community. And I was like, no, you can. You just ask. And he was like, he turns to me and he goes, oh, but yeah, like, see, you're so cute. Thank God you don't have a vagina. And I just went, I'm gonna go find my fiance. I'll be back real quick. I ran to Kate. I was like, Kate, save me from the cis gay men. Oh my God, I like panicked so much. But I was like, that is such a horrible thing to say. Like
my jaw is like on the floor. By the way, like for anyone listening, my jaw.
Don't get me wrong.
I've been like frozen listening to.
I've had lovely experiences with like cis gay men, but I feel like they're the ones who have like targeted me the most in like gay clubs. Like I like, don't get me wrong. Like some lesbians, like they frighten me. Like they are scary, but I love it. I love when like men get scared of lesbians. I love it so much because I'm like, yeah, they will fuck you up. Like they will. Don't mess with them. Like most people. I don't know why I've started doing that. A windmill punch in the back.
It's a thing that I've started doing recently. Something like.
But I've seen how like. I've seen how powerful Kate is. Like Kate is my fiance for anyone who doesn't know, and she identifies as pansexual, bisexual, kind of on either one. And like I've seen like women have gone over to her, and don't get me wrong, women can also be bad in the George. People can be bad in the George. Anywhere, people can be bad anywhere. I'm off the point.
Yes.
But basically, like this girl came over to Kate before and like grabbed her ass. No consent, just grabbed Kate's ass. All Kate had to do was turn around and just literally like, I don't know what tone she used, but I was like on the floor. She looks this girl in the face, puts her one finger up and goes, no. And the girl just like, the eyes went big and she just went, sorry. I'm like, what? I was like, the power my fiance holds with one single word. Like, I swear, literally just a finger up. No. And I was like, wow, wow.
Damn. No, good on her.
Yeah.
Good on her.
But yeah.
I totally get you. Like I've had some kind of not similar experiences. I feel like in London, I think gay men are a bit more aware that trans people are fucking everywhere.
I was about to say exist. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're literally everywhere, and you don't know where we're going to be, so you just got to anticipate us at
It's
any
gotta be
moment.
nice.
Yeah, no, but I'm joking.
Do you know what though? Just pulling back real quick because I know I'll end up forgetting because my brain is like mush.
Yes.
When I was last in London, last time when I successfully got into heaven, we won't talk about the other time.
Yes.
But the last time we got into heaven, which is a gay nightclub in London, for anyone who doesn't know, very, very cool. I love it compared to like the nightclubs over here in Dublin. But I will always hold so much joy and just like I tear up like thinking of it. The moment when we were walking in and you saw the queer group who were all signing to each other. And you just like, you cried out of happiness and you went over and you like signed, I can't sign very well, but like you spoke to them for a little bit. And like, I just remember like you cried and we were like really panicking, like they said something bad to you.
But
you were just so happy. I hold it in my heart for like ever. It's like one of my favorite memories in the world.
Okay, talking about that moment, and I've been thinking about something recently, you know, being deaf and trans, and I grew up, and I'll move this back to like what you said just now, but basically I feel like I grew up feeling very isolated. I thought I was the only me in the world. I thought I was the only person who felt the way that I did and who was the way that I am. And like for a really long time I struggled with that, and I think I still need to maybe process and unpack that feeling of isolation that I felt. I've had too much other trauma to like deal with and process, so I've been dealing with that and it's going okay. It's
that
going
can be pushed to the back of the closet for a bit.
Yeah, that's been like at the back, you know, or like on the floor for a bit.
The small bag you start off with.
Yeah. So I've been needing to get to it, but it's something that I just thought about recently. And so that moment for me when we were at heaven and we saw the deaf queer group all having a night out together. By the way, sign language in clubs is so needed.
Oh, it's so cool.
You want to say you want to go to the toilet? Just sign it.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's so easy. It's like, it's oh, never mind. I'll get into it. But that moment for me was seeing people that I'm like, that's my...
It's your people.
That's my people. That's my community within my community as well. Like, you know, it's that intersectionality of, you know, where my deafness and my queerness overlaps. But like, it's just so rare for me to see that anywhere. I didn't grow up seeing it in the media. I didn't grow up seeing deaf people, let alone trans people, let alone deaf and trans people. And now I feel like the industry is opening up so much more for those kind of roles, for those sort of for disability as well in general to just be put into media and stuff.
Yeah, so I think like one of the things I always worry about as a trans person, and it's probably just like, I don't know if you'd relate to it, I don't think I've ever spoken to another trans person about it, is like the irrational fear in the back of my head that like anything I kind of like achieve or apply for, that they give it to me as like a sympathy win. Because they're like, oh, we want
like
to say
tokenism?
that we want to have a trans person, so we're just going to like let them in. So I felt like when I got the funding for Boxed In, I was like, are they only doing it because I'm trans and they want to give a trans person and say, oh, we funded a trans person's film? Or is it because they genuinely liked the story? So it's like, would you ever have those like irrational fears that like your achievements are kind of like given to you rather than like, you know, earned?
You know what? One thing I would say is we both work hard. We work hard to where we've got to now, whether that's like working on on ourselves or working on something that we're passionate about. And so like I do get what you're saying. Part of me is sort of like, if they're just choosing me because of tokenism or whatever, I think I'll just be like, so what? They've chosen me for whatever reason. Sometimes you're never gonna know the answer to why they picked you, but you also, you know, you worked so fucking hard on that film, and it doesn't matter why they chose you, in a sense. I guess that's the way that I see it. I'm not trying to like diminish what you were saying, but like I do get what you mean. I have had the exact same thoughts. Like, am I just being chosen because I'm trans or whatever? Sometimes I feel like I'm not chosen because I'm trans or deaf or whatever as well, and it's so hard to
But yeah, like touching on that, like I had this experience the other day, and I think I was not this other day. I cannot conceive time anymore. I don't understand it. It's gone past so much. Don't know why I said conceive, as if I make a baby with time. But like when it comes to being trans and being like open with being trans, I have like this irrational thing, and probably a lot of things I do are irrational. But like I think I told you about it when I was in London recently, which I need to get back to London. I fucking love London. But when I went out, so the studio that we film in is HPV Studios. It's amazing. I love it. And they also do like a lot of live streams. I can see Connor cheering in the back. They also do a lot of live streams. So I work with them on live streams and stuff. And we went and did a live stream for Swim Ireland. And there was somebody that was there working with us, and I won't name names because it's nothing bad against the person. It's just privacy. But because we were watching the swimming like all day, every day, I was in the back of my head. I was like, I can swim. I can swim like these people. Like, it's not that hard to swim. So obviously, because I think that I look at free running and I'm like, I could jump a building, easy. I'm one of those people where my toxic trait is thinking I can do something like first try.
Yeah. And then the second that you can't do it, it's like, give up.
Yeah.
It's like you get angry and it's like, oh yeah, no.
It's just not meant for me. But so we found like a local swimming pool, which was like the smallest and like dodgiest swimming pool I've ever been in. But we went, so there was this guy that we were working with, and he asked if he could come with me and Kate to the swimming pool. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And I went to the swimming pool. Again, I hadn't told this guy I was trans because I don't feel the need to tell people that I'm trans. And we go to the swimming pool again. I'm like, right, he's going to see my scars. I wonder if he's going to ask anything. And we went into the pool, had great crack, came out. I went into the shower, but I went into my shorts because I was like, I'm going to dry myself when I get out. Blah, blah. This guy comes out butt naked, like everything showing. And I was like, oh God, I don't know where to look. Because I haven't grown up in male dressing rooms. Like, I've never seen this before. And like, his Todger was out, and I was like, oh my God. Like, because my eyes were like, just naturally like averting down. I was like, stop looking. Because like, it wasn't even, I'm not sure it sounds bad. It wasn't even that was like a nice thing to look at, but I was like, it's just there. Do you know when you're like, you know you're not supposed to look, but you're like, oh my God. And he looks at me, and I'm still in my shorts, and I was like, oh, sorry, man, I'm just shy. And he was like, oh, no, it's okay. It takes time to like get used to like locker rooms and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And then he was like, if you don't mind me asking. And I was like, oh, my scars. And he didn't even ask. Like, he didn't even say it. I was like, my scars. And he was like, yeah, what's that from? I told him I was born with, do you know the condition where men grow boobs?
Yeah.
I told him I was born with that, and I can't remember the name of the condition, but like some bodybuilders get it as well from like, I think it's from like steroids, but like you develop where you have to get the tissue removed. So I told him that I had that. I was like, oh, I was born with like too much estrogen in my body, and like I have to like take these supplements, and like I grew boobs, so I got a double mastectomy. And he's like, oh, that's crazy. Like, and how did that affect you? Blah, blah. And I felt so guilty. I felt
not, like, just
so
being truthful?
I felt so guilty because like in the back of my head, I'm like, one, I'm looking at this guy and he's naked. If I tell him right now I was born female, he's probably gonna shrivel up. Like not in that sense. I mean, like
choice of words, babe.
I meant like inside, technically.
Yep.
But probably the other way as well. Let's be honest. But voice is cracking and all. Whew. But I was like, I felt like I was gonna make him uncomfortable if I said there and then that I was like, I do not have a Todger. Because that's the way people see it. They're like, oh, you're not a guy, you don't have a Todger. That's why. Unfortunately, that's why a lot of people see it. And,
it's massive.
It's gigantic. I put it in my sock. But yeah, so I was like, oh God. And then when I walked out, I remember talking to Kate that night, and I was like, I feel so guilty. I feel like texting the guy and being like, hey, I'm trans, blah, blah, blah. And Kate was like, you owe no one an explanation. Yeah. You owe no one anything to do with your life and your personal life. And I was like, I know, but I feel like because I felt like I was letting the community down by lying about it. Does that make sense?
But sometimes, like, I guess, like, it's trans survival in a sense. Like, if you didn't feel comfortable there and then to come out, or like just to be open, you haven't let anyone down. You haven't let like the community, yourself, anyone down. Like, but I do totally get that. I try to be as open as I can, but there are spaces and occasions or situations or whatever where I'm like, I'm so scared that they're gonna clock me. Like, clocking is when someone
figures out
that you're trans. Like I get so scared if someone's that maybe I'll get clocked or whatever. Like, even in my retail job at the moment, like, I'm working with the public, and a lot of the customers that we get are like just older cis men, and I still freak out a bit. I still get scared. So I totally relate to that. Like, there's times and occasions where you don't feel comfortable, and your comfortability and your safety and your survival is way more important.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm sure the guy would have been probably chill with it, right?
Yeah, I think I had this irrational.
But-
Like, I think I was unfairly profiling as well because he was from Russia. So
Well,
Yeah.
Then again, you know, someone's. If you know about someone's culture, or
no, I'd like to say in case the guy ever listens to this or ever sees this, he's a lovely, lovely guy.
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah, I'm
such
sure
a
he
nice
is.
guy. But I was just so scared in the back of my head. I was like, I can't do this right. I think it was because I was also again he was naked and I was in a locker room with him. We were the only two people there. I was like, this could either go really good or really bad, and I didn't want to risk it. But like, John, touching on a more like positive side of it, I feel like sometimes being trans is my party trick. I really fucking do. Like, I love being at a party.
just
but,
like to
I'll-
whip it out.
Yeah, I know, because I think you'll understand. Like, when it comes to like, I'm sorry, but like the straight girls in like the gay club, when they come over and they're like, "Oh my god, like when did you know?" And I'm like, "Know what?" And they're like, "I thought you were gay," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not gay." And like, "Oh, but like why are you here?" Like, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm trans." And like,
And they're like,
no. And then you pull out like the old photos of, and they're like, "Oh my god, you were such a pretty girl though." And it's like, no, I was I
and
literally,
now I'm a pretty guy. Well,
yeah.
you know.
I say pretty. I say I'm pretty. Straight girls are just funny. They really are. Like, don't get me wrong. I saw like there's one of my friends, and again, I love him.
How do you
Casey.
feel about like the questions that we get asked
Ah.
as trans people? Like sometimes, and to be fair, sometimes I get stupid questions as a deaf person as well. Like, you know, but
I think like the funniest questions I think I remember I went into as you know I went to an all girl Catholic school. Ugh. And I remember obviously I came out and I think it was like in 6th year. I was getting 6th year would be like your 6th form. I think you call
yeah.
it.
So like when you were like 16 to 18.
Yeah. So like our 6th year, you'd be 17 or 18.
Okay.
You're just about ready to graduate. And I remember I was talking to one of my friends in the library about how I was about to start medically transitioning, and I was super, super excited about it. And I was showing them, like, you know, the way like the token trans guy, like the 1 year on testosterone videos. I was showing them all them videos, and I was like, this is what's gonna happen. This is gonna happen. And a girl turned around and was like, wait, hold on. So you're actually gonna look like a lad? And I was like, yeah. She's like you're gonna. What, you're gonna become a man? What? And I was like, yeah, what did you think medically transition meant? She's like, I don't know, I just thought you were gonna like say you were a lad and that was that. I was like, well, some people do.
Yeah,
some
true.
people do, but like, and she was like, and she sat back and she was in shock. She's like, wait, hold on, and like fully like sit back and she's like, so you're gonna grow a beard now? And I was like, yeah, but the one thing that people ask, I think you relate to, are you gonna grow a penis? And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna grow a full-sized penis. That is how.
I mean, I really kind of wished
I fucking
that
wish
it worked like that.
Oh god, our
'Cause
lives
it
would be so
does,
much
but
easier.
It's not quite to the extent that you want it to.
Like, we've
for
so many
anyone
names
that's
for it, yeah.
Listening and doesn't know this, when you take testosterone, God, I don't really know how to say this other than to just say it. Your clitoris grows.
There's
and
no
it gets
other
bigger.
way of saying it.
Yeah,
there really isn't.
Yeah, no.
Me and Robin. Robin is our friend, by the way. We were chatting about this earlier, and we were like talking about like, again, for anyone who has sensitive ears or doesn't want to hear about T-dicks, as we call them, I'd say stop listening now, or at least skip the next couple of minutes. We were talking about like it's literal foreskin.
It's crazy.
Like, it is insane. Like, I remember I had to call my brother before because I was like, how do I clean it?
What was
I
weird
called
is
Jordan, yeah.
I was expecting the first few changes for me to notice when I started hormones to be maybe my voice deepening, or I don't know, just feeling a bit hormonal, hot flushes, you know, that kind of type of thing. No, I put my T-gel on at night, woke up the next morning, went to my lecture, and I start like throbbing down there, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? This
crazy.
is so weird.
Like,
I'm not even 24 hours on T, and I'm like,
I think it's crazy because
such
like
a weird feeling.
there's so many things that are like so funny that
Yeah.
change. Like, one, I grew an Adam's apple. That's insane. Like, that's crazy. Like, what I love the way, you ever watching Friends when Joey calls it his Joey's apple? And Chandler's like, it's not the name after you, it's just an Adam's apple. But like, you know, like, again, sensitive ears, turn off. Like, the smell of my pee changed.
Oh,
It got so
God.
much worse. Like, ew. It's so strong. And I'm like, don't get me wrong. I remember when I first started transitioning and I went into the men's
it makes
bathroom.
sense why men's bathrooms smell
Oh.
awful.
Also,
Sometimes,
dehydration,
not
men,
all
drink
of
your
them,
water.
But like just like public men's bathrooms.
Oh no, it's basically all of them. Basically all of them. Like even my mom at home, not my mom's pee, but like my mom at home, she sleeps downstairs. So like they have an extension in the house where her bedroom and her bathroom are connected downstairs at the back. You know it. It's hard to visualize if you don't know it. But the boys, it's like the upper floor is like kind of like their apartment block, so to say. So their bathroom is like theirs. It's just the boys. When I walk into that bathroom, Elliot, I want to vomit. I love my brothers. I love my brothers. But oh my God. It's a man's bathroom. That's all I can say.
Do you feel like, because we didn't grow up, like as cis guys, there's like a lot of like cis male culture, or like, I feel like there's a word for it, like certain behaviors that you have to do. Do you know what I mean?
Like habits that I didn't pick up.
Yeah. That we're just like not aware of, or like maybe able to even do, or like that kind of thing. Like even that thing of like just men's changing rooms and bathrooms, like them just being naked and like being like,
yeah, see, I couldn't do that. Like even in like a female dressing room, I wouldn't have been able to do that as a kid. But I think like I don't know why, but like I have these little traits where I'll just be walking around the house, and like for anyone who can't see, my hands to be like a T-Rex. I have the most flamboyant hands in the world. Like I'd be just doing anything random, washing dishes, and my hand just drops. And it's just there. It's magic. It's
I've
crazy.
noticed this as well.
But yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's
you'll
like
be there and you'll be like talking, and then your hand will
my
just
hands,
like
they
randomly
flop. But like I literally look like a T-Rex, and funny enough, I'm dressing up as a T-Rex for Halloween. But yeah, I think it's like to me, in my personal opinion, I enjoy what I'd call the privileges of being a trans man, because I understand so much more of like the female mindset, and that is like, to me, that's like a superpower. Like, because at the end of the day, like, you can have those like fucking trolls that be like, you'll always be a woman, blah blah. I will be the most slickest boyfriend in the world because I know exactly what to do. But not in a way of like manipulation. I understand everything.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if this is weird, but like I kind of
that
enjoy
ring.
being able to not relate to, but relate to my like female colleagues or whatever, like when they're like, oh, I got my period or something,
been there.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, me too, girl. Like, like I get it, I understand, and like I completely sympathize with how painful that can be, and like just, I don't know, the lack of care people see, or consideration people seem to give to like how girls might actually feel when they get their period. It sucks. Oh, it sucks big time.
I almost missed the plane before.
It's weird. Like, even though I'm very comfortable in being masculine and like and being a guy, I do enjoy the fact that like I can still relate to the girls and like talk to them about those sort of things. I feel like I do have that, like you said, just that level of understanding that maybe cis guys won't have, and that's okay. Like,
also, we get to I don't think I've ever talked about stuff like this with you before, but like we get to experience, to me, what is one of the most coolest things in the world. Don't get me wrong, get a lot of dysphoria from it, but how cool are vaginas? They're fascinating. They're
amazing.
Absolutely fascinating. Like, when you think about it, like, obviously, like, the guy has a dick. It is just an inside-out vagina. Someone got some nice ASMR there. But, like, when you think about it, it is that way, though. You know? And I think it's like, I don't know even how to explain it.
I feel like then we're really, like, male and female, we're really not that.
They're not that different. I think
and there's been so many gender roles and all of this stuff, the constructs that have been put in place that like divide the two even more, and actually, you know, like we're all just.
I think it's really funny because I saw Corey, Noah's boyfriend, put up. He did a video where he called one of his haters that were like trolling him or whatever, and he, you know, in Corey's amazing fashion, which I fully wish I had the balls for. Yeah, just absolutely ridiculous this guy, and he was like, you know, he let the guy have a say. I didn't watch the full thing, but he let the guy have a say, and then he was like, you know, he kind of ripped him a new one.
He's very good at just like
stating the facts the way it is, and all these people in the comments were like, you know, oh, all these fucking made up things, call them what they are, you know. And then someone was like, you do realize you just used they in the singular, like you just did it. It's not that hard. And I was like, yes. And then somebody else was like, they said something along the lines of like, oh, like stick to your gender. Like all this shit is made up. And someone went, lol, gender was made up. Like it is literally a social construct. And I think when you like start saying like these what are considered like big words to people, I put quotations around big words like social construct. They're like, oh, look at them making up. And it's like, no, gender is literally a social construct.
I was gonna say, in terms of like gender and like that kind of thing, that to explain to some of my family members sort of like non-binary, or like how anyone can feel like they're in between male and female, or that maybe that binary sort of thing isn't as binary. Basically, Bimini from RuPaul's Drag Race UK said there's 7 billion people in the world, and you're expecting all 7 billion. Think about how big of a number that is. All 7 billion people to fit into 2 boxes.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
it's a great way of
realistic. How that's not possible. There's always going to be that 99.9% chance, right?
Yeah.
And actually, it's much bigger than 99.9% chance of that one person being non-binary or whatever, or feeling in between. It's so vast and everything. And like, I find that the internet and people still not getting it or whatever. I feel like we'll get there eventually.
You know, I was saying it to you earlier, and this is obviously it absolutely sucks that one of my really close friends' mums passed away this week. Well, last week, but the funeral was yesterday. And sorry, but basically, I was like, again, so proud of my friend, because when they got up for the eulogy, like, they made sure to, like, in the church, say the word gay, say the word non-binary, joke about bestiality, and the joke was, it wasn't like a weird joke. They were like, sugar. Oh, give me a second. Hold on. How did that happen?
And we'll stay there on bestiality.
Give me 2 seconds.
Anyway, we were talking about bestiality before the camera.
So just for anybody watching, sorry, the camera cut there, so we just have to go back to where we started. So basically, they'd made a joke, because I would, again, keep stuff private, don't want to name names. They made a joke that their mom, when they came out to their mom was like, you could love a horse and I wouldn't care. So they made that joke, and then they ended, and I think Connor's gonna love this. They ended the eulogy with "Rest in peace, mom, you mad bitch." And I mean, the priest's face is just red, and I was like, me and Seamus and Kay at the back, just like, that's my friend. But like, I walked up to them afterwards, and I was like, I love the fact that you used every minute of that to just bring out every aspect of your mom. Like, it was so cool.
That's really special though as well.
Yeah.
Nice that they were able to do that.
Yeah, I think it was like, again, their mom would have been absolutely breaking her shite laughing, like, really. But I think it's just like, we get, like you said, we get told to like stay in these boxes and like, do this, do that, because that's what you're like expected to do. And like, honestly, when I see like some of my brother's like old friends who would be like really like toxic masculine, I like, my heart just kind of goes out to them, because I'm like, it must be chaotic in there. Like, all these different things you want to do that you're told you're not allowed to do.
Oh, can't do this, can't do that. And it's like,
it's just a restriction. I
find that, like, you know, like, when not being out and everything when I was younger and stuff, and now I feel so liberated. Yeah. I feel so, like, just free, and in terms of my expression, I think, you know, I pass in
quotations. Yeah.
I pass as a guy now, and that is great, and it allows me to be more expressive in terms of just gender fuckery and like not really caring, because I don't really care. I just want to wear what I want to wear. Why?
The same. Yeah.
Why should someone tell me not to? Oh no! Stop. Sorry, I just remembered. No, seriously. Like, I don't get a lot of like homophobic stuff or transphobic stuff happen to me, to be fair. But Vegard and I went to my local newsagents.
You were telling me about this when I was over,
the other day, and we're dressed like slightly camp. We look hot. That's all I will say. We walk in, and this guy's just paid for something. He's walking out, and he's like, "Hey, why are you dressed like that? Why do you look like that?" I was like,
"So why are you talking?
I was like, "Why are you dressed like that? You're literally in some like Nike tracksuit. What?
You look no different from the rest of the 10 lads that just walked past me."
And he was hounding us for 5 minutes. And Vegard's just paid for something and is asking the cashier, like, "Are you gonna make the homophobic man leave your store?" And the guy's like shaking his head like, "No." Yeah. And Vegard was like, "Are you going to?" And he was like, "No." And it was just like, I can't shop in there now. I want to support my local community and like not shop at the Sainsbury's or the Tesco's down the road and go and shop local. But I feel so shit about it, because it's like, how can I support you if you're not going to support me? And honestly, like, you didn't stand up for either of us at all. That altercation was going on for 5 minutes. It could have escalated, but he was a scrawny little shit, so it, you know, he would have went, you know, just like, like it would have been. But obviously don't want it to get to a physical
of
place
course.
at all. But it was just so shit. It was like, why do you feel the need to ask this? I was asking him that, and he was like, oh yeah, I've never seen. And I'm like, you live in London, you've never seen a queer person. Are you what? Do you not leave the house or something? We're fucking everywhere. Like, I know, like, echo chamber, like, sometimes you, obviously, if you're in a community, you're going to see more and hear more only from that community, but, like, come on.
I'll give you a funny one, though. When I used to work in the local Spar, down in Finglas, where I used to live, which is, for anybody who's listening who doesn't really know Dublin, Finglas is, like, one of the roughest areas in Dublin. And I'd come out as trans. I was, like, the only known trans person in Finglas, and it wasn't for a good reason. Like, it was just...
And your brother got some stick for it.
My brother got stick for it, yeah. But again, he stood his
same
ground.
with
and he
my
stood
younger
me.
sibling as well, actually. Like, my younger brother was getting stick at school because his best friend was gay, and then I was also, like, trans and stuff.
It's fucking ridiculous. But, like, give you a reason, like, oh, not reason, but, like, a funny one. So most people suspect that, like, all, like, you know, like, drug dealers and, like, people that are in, like, bad gangs and bad areas are going to be, like, super transphobic and homophobic. So when I worked in this Spar, it was basically, like, there was, like, a drug dealing gang that would, like, stay outside the shop. We obviously wouldn't tell them to fuck off because I'd rather stay living. And the management kind of had, like, a deal with them that, like, they could come in and out because they were buying a lot from the shop, and it was, like, a family-owned kind of Spar. So they're like, right, you can stay outside the shop and do whatever you're doing, but, like, buy from the shop. And they were like, yeah, no problem. But I was always terrified of these guys because I was like, I don't want to fuck with them, don't want to mess with them, I know who they are, and if they obviously know who I am for a bad reason, it's not going to work well in my favour. But me and Jordan worked in this bar together, so he knew the guys better than I did. But basically they'd asked Jordan one of the days, they were like, who's the person behind the counter with you? Is that a lad or a girl? And Jordan was like, oh, that's my little brother, that's Jackson. They were like, oh, his voice is, like, really high. And he's like, yeah, he's trans, he hasn't medically transitioned yet. And they were like, oh, all right. And they just kind of left it. And then I was working with this girl, who's now a teacher, by the way, might I just state. I was working with this girl, and the guy came over, and he went to her till a few days later. And he was like, oh, can you serve me here? And she points at me and goes, no, she can serve you. And he looks over at me and goes, and he looks back at the girl and goes, there's no girl there. And she points back at me, she goes, she can deal with you, Jackson, she can deal with you. And he just looked at her and he goes, do you have any respect? And she's just like, what? This is one of the biggest drug dealers in Finglas.
Damn.
And he goes, do you have any respect? He's a lad. If he says he's a lad, he's a lad. Just be fucking nice, would you? And she just went, oh, all right. And he was like, he looked at me and he goes, don't let anyone talk down on you, yeah? And I was like, yeah. And he goes,
it's not hard.
It's really not that
not
hard.
hard.
Like, he had so much respect for me. And, like, I was just like, me and Jordan were shook by it. Like, we were shook. And he was like,
that's really lovely.
It just shows it's not like the minds. Can't be like, oh, well, the lads don't get it, so I'm just gonna, like, no. This guy is, like, one of the heads. Like, I think he's out of it now. But, like, again, one of the biggest drug dealers, was getting chased by the guards nearly every other day. Still would come in and give me the respect that I deserved. Because he was like, it's literally just common decency.
It is easy to do. It is easy to do. I think some people just...
Also, she never misgendered me again.
That's...
Yeah. So I was like, yo, love that.
God, do you want to take, like, 2 seconds?
Yeah, do you want to breathe for a second?
Yeah.
We took a little break there. Sorry, guys. Jumping back in, because we were just talking there about, like, languages and English. You're actually not fully English. No, you are fully English. Sorry, but your heritage...
Well, like, so
You've
on
some
my
mix in
dad's
you.
side, he's, like, Cypriot.
Cypriot. For anyone who doesn't know what Cypriot is, can you...
Cyprus. Greek.
Greek.
Yeah. You know what? My Greek side of the family were, like, amazing about, like, the whole trans and, like, gay shit.
Love that. Love that.
Like, even if they're, like, Orthodox as well, like, they were just so calm about it. Sorry, what were you going to ask about it?
I was just saying, like, if you could just chat a bit about that.
Oh, there's not really, like... Sorry.
There's not much,
really,
yeah.
like,
That's
loads
cool.
to say about it. Like, it's just... it's something I wish I was a bit more, like, in touch with.
But touching on a stereotype, you're a big fan of olives, aren't you?
Huh?
Big fan of olives.
I love olives. Honestly. Just
Wink at the camera. Love olives.
I love olives. If you've got any olives...
But
to me.
we were chatting there a few minutes ago just about, like, unnecessary experiences with people. I don't know if you mind me touching on it. My 19th birthday, if you remember, the incident. Do you mind if we chat about that a little bit?
Yeah. That was so peak. I felt so bad about that whole thing.
So
we had a lovely night out.
Yeah.
It's your birthday. You've gone. You're the friend that goes missing. When
That
it's
is true.
yeah, it was so funny.
I just remember walking around and eating popcorn in the academy. I remember.
You didn't know where you went.
I blacked out. That was the first time I ever blacked out drunk. And I remember walking down the stairs, holding onto the rail. Do you know when you have like blurry memories? I remember holding onto the rail, and as I was walking down the steps, going 1, 2, 1, 2, because I was scared I was gonna fall.
Help,
You literally like a baby. But yeah, we had a lovely night.
Had a lovely time. Everyone was there. It was good. Like it was great. And then we go to the McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's kind of like not too far from where we went.
It was
to.
the McDonald's on O'Connell Street at the end.
Yeah, and God, I to be fair, I had buzz cut pink hair.
Not to be fair, this guy was a dick overall.
No, I had buzz cut pink hair. So if I'm gonna stand out, I'm gonna stand like I stood out, but. He didn't need to involve himself. He just turns to me and he's like, "Oh, are you lad or are you girl?" Like whatever, like that. Oops. Like that's that's sort of similar thing that you had in the spa, like or whatever. I can't remember. Sorry, but yeah, no.
Yeah, so just
I can't even fully remember what he said now as well.
So just to recall it, so we were in Dublin. It was my 19th birthday. We just come out from a nightclub. We went into McDonald's, and again, we don't even have to describe what way you looked, because again, nobody has a right to say that kind of shit to anyone. But he turns around to you and was like, "Oh, you're a lad or a girl?" And you were so nice to him. You were like, "Oh, I'm a guy, but like I'd appreciate if like you don't ask those kinds of things." And you said it in such a nice manner that like this guy, it was a nice way of saying "fuck off," like literally. And I just remember getting to the point where the guy kept asking, and then he went, "You're not a guy." And then you were like, "Why did you ask then?" And he started going off, and you took your hearing aids out, and that's when me and Kai snapped.
How I deal with any situation, just take my hearing aids out. Oh,
but again,
hey, I can't hear it. Fuck you.
But me and Kai snapped because he kept going,
Yes.
and we were like, he literally took his fucking hearing aids out so he doesn't have to listen to you. If that's not a sign to piss off, I don't know what is. And I remember I was very rowdy, and I tried to chase him up the stairs, and Kai was like, "You're not going up to start a fight right now." And I was like, "No, like." You don't speak to my friends like that and get away with it. Then I remember going out to a guard outside.
And the guards were like...
And I was like, "Look, my friend has just been hate crimed. If you can please go in and just warn the guy. Scare him a little bit. Like, I'm not asking you to arrest him." And she was like, "Be the bigger person and walk away."
Yeah, she was like making it out like...
We were in the wrong.
We were in the wrong, or like we're the problem. And it's like, you're a fucking guard. This is your job to safeguard your community.
Yeah,
like,
and I said it to her. I was like,
the community. Like,
I was like, "Is transphobia not like illegal, like not a hate crime?" And she was like, "No." I remember going into college the next day doing a module on discrimination. My friend in 2 seconds pulled up a statement from like the Irish fucking whatever the legal thing is called, and she was like, "Transphobia is a hate crime." So the guard just like lied to your face.
yeah.
And I was like, she just didn't want to deal with it. She just did not care.
Say that. She just didn't want
I was
to...
about to drink hand sanitizer.
Babe, I mean, it's 70% alcohol. I
We are going out, babes,
pre-drinking
so.
this early for the George tonight, but I mean, it's all yours.
Few sprays. Oh gosh.
That should be the thumbnail or whatever.
Drinking that. Do you know what? We'll wrap it up a little bit because I feel like we could chat for days on end.
I know,
Trying to get a thumbnail with the hand sanitizer. But yeah, just to wrap it up, just because we've touched on so many topics, I feel like we need a part 2. But yeah, like, you know, as a deaf, trans, and queer person, what's the goal in the future for like the representation that you want to be?
For what I want to be, or what I want
Or
to
at least
see, or like
both. Like who you want to be and what you want to see.
Honestly, I feel like I am being the representation that I wanted to see when I was younger. Now, and I'm being
That's
I'm
beautiful.
being that representation, like and there's other trans and deaf guys or people that are like, you know, I don't know. I feel honoured like that I can be that, and I hope to see even more like deaf and trans people, and also like in terms of transness and disability as well, because that is not seen at all. I think, you know, it's one thing to say like a deaf trans person, but also like just disability and transness in general do not seem to intersect in the media, and that they absolutely do in real life. God, I know someone who is a deaf trans wheelchair user, and it's like, pick a struggle, babe. Like, obviously I'm joking, but I know that he'll laugh at that, but like, it's just like, it's like, you know, he should see himself like represented.
I think,
and
yeah.
so often we're not, and also because of those things as well. Like, I've often heard about disabled trans people having way more struggle to access trans healthcare and like healthcare in general.
Yeah.
It's appalling. It's so bad. Or like the gender clinics that they want to go to aren't wheelchair accessible or like easy for them to get to. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's a joke, but yeah. So I the
Sorry
camera.
about that.
No. The camera's just gonna run out in a sec. But just to leave with a quote that Keenan gave us in the first episode. It's I think we can both resonate to it. It's like, you think your problems are like obviously the worst thing in the world, but if you were to put if you were to surround yourself with a bunch of people and everyone puts their problems in on the table, you'd probably take yours back as quick, because you could see some people have it just a whole lot worse. Not saying that your problems are,
Worse,
you know, pushed
or whatever.
aside, but like, you know, just try take as many positives out of life as you can. We will have a part 2, I promise, because we have so much chat about. But Elliot, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's so much fun. I can't wait to like talk.
Where can
about
people
more.
find you?
So if you want to find me on any of my social media, it's at Evolution of Elliot, because
I'll
I'm
put it
always
on the
evolving.
screen, and I'll Evolution of Elliot. Just
Evolution
double
of
plug.
Elliot. Oh, and that's Elliot with 2 hours 1 T. Apparently it matters. I don't know.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider subscribing. I'm stumbling over my words. Like the video and leave a comment of who you want to see on the show. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Woo.